not about how many hours you put in working, it's about how focused you are. More in today's video. Hi, I have a PhD in neuroscience, and in today's video I'm going to explain why it's not useful to work super long hours, but it's more important how focused you are and how to actually achieve this deep focus. Let's now start with what happens in your brain if you work too many hours. Well, one thing that happens is that your brain gets tired. When your brain is tired, the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain that is in charge of focus, of decision making, of thinking, is going to be tired as well. And when prefrontal cortex is tired, it's not going to perform well. What this basically means that if you work too many hours, the prefrontal cortex is fatigued and you cannot make good decisions, you cannot be focused, you cannot think clearly. And that is really problematic because for many tasks, even for some simple ones, we need to be focused. Because if we are not focused, we are going to learn or study or work slower. We are going to make more mistakes. And in general, we are going to do less work in more time. Basically, we are going to be less efficient. So instead of working super long hours, it's better to learn how not to fatigue your brain. And here are several ways how you can prevent this prefrontal cortex fatigue. Number one is to work in 90 minutes intervals and then take a break. Neuroscience research has shown that our brain works in something that is called ultradian rhythm. This basically means that we can be focused for 90 minutes. However, after 90 minutes, the focus will significantly drop. And what happens if you try to push past those 90 minutes? You're just wasting time because you're just going to make your prefrontal cortex more and more fatigued and you're not going to be focused. What you should do instead is after 90 minutes, take a 10 to 15 minutes break to recharge, to rest your prefrontal cortex, and then restart this 90 minutes interval. I need to mention that this break should be relaxing. If you take your phone and scroll your phone, this input from your phone can still continue to fatigue your brain. It's way better to maybe make your favorite cup of tea, or even better go for a walk, because if you go for a walk, you will also, besides resting your prefrontal cortex, you will also increase the oxygen in your brain that can further help you focus better. So number one was to work in ultradian rhythms. Work for 90 minutes and then take 10 to 15 minutes break. Number two is to schedule deep focus in the morning. Research has shown that for most people, we are most focused early in the morning. So we wake up, and after waking up in 30 minutes to 1 hour, cortisol is going to fire in our brain, and where cortisol goes up, we are also more focused. So it's great if you have some work to do where you need to be really focused, you need to achieve deep focus. It's the best to schedule it early in the morning, so 1 hour after waking up, and then to work for a few hours on that in order to use this morning window when you're super focused, because in early afternoon focus is naturally going to crash. So you want to make sure to use this morning focus spike, to use it for work that needs super focus. Number three is to set a 15 minutes timer when you want to achieve deep focus. Research has shown that it takes around 15 minutes, so 10 to 20, but on average 15, to reach the flow state. What is the flow state? Well, the flow state is when you forget about working because the working becomes enjoyable. You reach a high focus and working is enjoyable. However, before you reach this flow state, you are going to be more easily distracted. And that is why you want to set this 15 minutes timer in order to be a signal to your brain not to get distracted and not to change a task. Because once you change to something else, let's say you want to study, and in those 15 minutes you decide to check your emails, where you just switch the task, you lost the focus, and you need to restart everything from zero. So you want to make sure when you want to begin your highly focused state to set a 15 minutes timer and then do nothing else for 15 minutes. Now I'm going to tell you what were results for me when I started implementing those things. Number one, I was making less mistakes. So during my PhD, I got a lot of feedback from my colleagues and from my supervisor that my code is a little bit messy, that it's not optimized, that I have a lot of typos when I was writing a paper or when I was writing my thesis. This was all because I was not focused, because my prefrontal cortex was drained and I couldn't focus properly. And that's why I was making more mistakes. Once I figured out how to focus better, I was more accurate and I was making less mistakes. Number two is that I became more efficient. I was spending a bit less time at work because I was more efficient and I have more time to do some other activities such as studying French or doing workouts. However, some of my colleagues and friends who were doing a PhD were spending so many hours doing their PhD that they basically had no life besides their PhD. So another thing of deep focus is that you're going to be more efficient and that you can get more things done in less time. And number three, I was enjoying work more because when I figured out about the flow state, I just knew that I have to be patient for 15 minutes. And once I'm patient for 15 minutes, I'm going to reach a flow state and then I'm going to enjoy my work, which was really true. So once I managed to push through those 15 minutes and reach the flow state, my work became way more enjoyable. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments down below if you tried some of the techniques. And please subscribe to my channel to see more similar videos. And if you want your own personalized focus system, know that I also offer coaching. I have a program called Neuroproductivity when we meet one-on-one and I help you create your own personalized focus system. You can schedule a free discovery call by clicking on the link in the description down below. Thank you so much for watching and I hope to see you soon.